go.
Hey, beautifuls. Welcome back to Women, Wine and Wisdom. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Naomi.
And today we're going to be talking about how to keep the spark alive in your relationship.
Yes.
So, because I'm being chatty all the time, Nay, I'm going to let you kick us off with how you think we can keep the spark in our relationships.
Well, before we do that,
No.
I mean, come on. You lot know the drill by now. I hope you've got a glass in your hand, but we're going to cheers in the meantime. Cheers,
my beautiful.
That's all right.
That's a smooth rosé, you know.
That is all right. So
that's a smooth rosé.
That rosé, guys, is actually one that I brought back from Greece from my trip earlier in the month, or last month, shall I say? But yeah, it's a really nice rosé.
That does sound really sweet. It's not too sweet as well. It just goes down really smoothly. Mm-hmm.
It almost tastes like just summer fruits, like just fresh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
salad and fish.
Yeah, salad and fish, definitely. But yes, so going back to your question.
Yes, how do we keep the spark alive in our relationship? Basically, what we're trying to say is that a lot of relationships are boring, losing their spark. You guys are not engaged with each other anymore. How do we get rid of that? How do you va-va-voom, you know?
Va-va-voom. So I think just planning date nights. For us, that works. And we do love a little holiday. So, but we always...
Girl, tuck your tucks, you just came back.
But we always like to have something that we look forward to, whether it be a date night or whether it be going on holiday together. Just having shared, like something that we share as a common interest that we enjoy doing and looking forward, like, you know, booking that into our plans. Yeah.
It's interesting because I feel like that's just you in general as well. Because I feel like you love a holiday. I love a holiday too. But no, I think holidays are such a good way to reconnect.
Yeah.
It's a good way to kind of get away from your everyday schedule.
100%. It's needed.
And for some reason, don't you feel like on holiday, everybody's just feeling a little bit more sexy? And just feeling the sun's like shining. You're way more relaxed.
You got your nails done, your hair
lashes done. They got her lashes done. I'll be seeing them those spikes, girl.
You know, but it's like, you know, it's a time to really just relax. And I think where you leave all the worries behind.
Yeah.
Or I do. I don't know about anyone else,
me too. But... I mean, like, I don't even have no worries on holiday.
The minute I take that flight, listen.
The only worry is, what's my next drink?
Literally. I'm like, please. But ultimately, you know, going away on holiday, you leave a lot of the stresses behind. And I think it's just nice to be able to reconnect and just be at one with your partner.
Yeah.
So, you know, you block out all the noise in the background. You know, neither of you have work stresses at that time. And, you know, you don't have any kind of external factors that can contribute to affecting your relationship. And so when you can just be at one with each other and enjoy each other's kind of space, I think that is it's just beautiful. It almost is like a reset in your relationship.
Holidays are just
you know
lovely.
What I mean?
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. If you can't enjoy a holiday with your partner, you need to leave because if
there's nothing else to it.
What more?
Yeah.
But what about you?
I'm trying to think, like, for me, two things I'm going to say quickly. One, trying new hobbies together. I really like that. So trying things that you like that I potentially don't really know much about.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Or just going to like a pizza making class together. Do you know what I mean?
That's nice. I like that.
Yeah. I love doing something different. I feel like it's cooking together is I don't know. There's something about cooking together that I think is really cute.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It kind of sets the tone. You know, it's a skill that you're going to have to do for a very long period of time as well. We are going to cook. Even though I actually enjoy cooking. But just like a pizza making class, for example, gin tasting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Doing something that's like that you wouldn't necessarily normally. It's a new experience together.
I love that because I think that is literally on the mark when it's like, what can you do to just bring a bit of va-va-voom? Because being with someone, you can imagine being with someone for 20 years and day in, day out doing the same boring stuff. Or not boring, but same routine.
Is boring.
But yeah. But, you know, so in like injecting something new into it and saying, oh, babe, why don't we try doing this? Or why don't we try doing that? It's a new experience and it's just something to add to the memory bank. When you look back on life,
I like the memory bank thing.
When you're on your cruise and you're thinking, like when you're 60 and you're just looking back on life and all the time you have shared together, you want to be able to feel like you've both ticked off bucket lists of things and done things to kind of like, because it's also character building.
It is. I want to see what you're like when your pasta ain't pastaing anymore and your pizza's not correct.
Exactly.
You couldn't roll out the dough properly.
One of the things that we actually did on holiday, and I did it when I was much younger, but it was very different because we just did it up and down a strip, but we both went on quads.
Okay.
And like we jumped on a quad together, and but we actually went up the mountains. Like if you've been on that. Crete is very like, I don't want to say hilly. It's like, but it's got loads of mountains. It's you know. So, like, a lot of people have to go through the mountains to get to the houses and things like that. And so we're driving, and we actually saw a car that had rolled off the mountain. So this was no joke. I was petrified. I'm like, ah.
Was you driving, or was he driving?
He was driving, but he then encouraged me to drive. And
okay, because like, I'm gonna be sitting on the back.
Yeah, listen.
Passenger
I was
princess.
Like, helmet on, everything wasn't looking cute anymore. The helmet was like, but ultimately, it wasn't necessarily something that I really wanted to do, but it was something that he was kind of interested in doing. And I thought I wanted to have this experience with him.
Yeah.
But then also, aside from having that experience, it was also the fact that he was like, right, I'm going to encourage you to now try.
That's really cute.
And it was like, you know, I'll be right behind you. Like, I'll make sure like I support you. And it was that. And even though I would probably never do it again, because I was just like, no.
Petrified.
Listen,
I mean, it's the mountains for me.
Listen, the mountains was
That's what I'm saying. Because I did, we did this, Mara. We did it in St. Lucia, and it was amazing. But I'm not sure I would be able to do it in a mountain. Yeah. That's real brave.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a lot, but it was still a shared experience. And even till now, coming back to London, it's one of the things that we both laugh about and look back on. And, you know, but kind of going back to what you were saying, it's about having shared experiences and trying new things together.
Definitely.
What are some of the new things that you and your partner have done?
Ooh. Do you know what? One thing I could definitely say that I've experienced with my partner that is a deeper connection. So I feel like for me right now, this is the deepest connection that I've had. So, and I feel like we do little things, for example. And one of the things I like to do is I'm a curious person, and you probably guessed from the pod, I ask so many questions all the time.
Yeah.
And I want to know everything about you. So one thing I always like to do, and again, we play games. So it's like there's a card game, and it's called Intimacy.
Okay, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like sometimes we'll be like, bring out a couple cards, and I'm like, okay, cool, let's chat. But for me, that's the deepest connection I've ever had with another person. Yeah. And I love it. And I feel like, because sometimes you learn things about your partner, and I guess it's like why they are the way they are. So sometimes the cue card might be like, you know, what happened in your childhood that you don't discuss, for example. That's definitely not one of them, but you know what I mean. You know, or what, like it said, what was one of the questions? What do I do that turns you on, for example? That's another one of the questions. But any single cue card, because I think there's like 5 things. One's like life, one's like past, one's intimacy. So there's like different categories. But what I've realized is those conversations always lead to other conversations. There's always something that comes from it.
That's one thing. I don't feel like a lot of people ask enough questions in their relationship. They coast.
You can't coast. And do you know what? Another app that I was just been made aware of recently, and I'm not going to say the person that told me about that, just in case you just want me to say it. But the app is called Paired. And basically what happens is you guys need to, before you can see, so you answer a question and your partner answers a question. And before you guys can see the answer, both of you need to have answered. Which is kind of nice. So it's like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
So both of you answer these questions. It's like, oh my God, I learned something new about you today.
What's an example of a question that might be on there? Do you know?
Again, I want to say I remember, but I don't.
No. Okay.
But again, it's like the intimacy card game, a range of different questions. It literally could be about anything, any topic. And if you have more time, you can answer more questions. But it's a good way to connect with your partner on a deeper, not surface level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And I think that's very important, because I feel like a lot of people are not kind of like asking questions.
No, they're not.
They're not really trying to delve in and really get to the root of their partner and understanding them. They will just do things like, let's just go out to eat.
Boring.
It's boring. It's not boring.
No, don't get me wrong. I love going out to eat, because you're not love you probably see it on my Instagram, to be honest. But at the same time, I feel like if we're talking about how to keep the spark alive in a relationship, going out to eat
is not
enough.
It's not enough.
Yes, exactly.
Going deep and really trying to find out like the whys of why you love that person.
Yeah.
It's important.
Definitely. What's another thing that you think keeps the in your relationship?
Do you know what? As simple as this may sound, and we kind of touched on it earlier.
Okay.
But it's just a dressing up. Girl, bye.
Okay.
But it's the dressing up aspect, I think. I
agree.
think like making the effort.
Yep.
Because like we said earlier, you can get very complacent. So really stepping out, making the effort in various ways, whether it be your partner likes you dressing up in the bedroom, or whether it be, you know, going out somewhere where, you know, you're going to throw on heels and like, you know, be in a nice dress. Like some people like that. Some guys maybe just like you to be in sweats. I don't know. Yeah. But ultimately, finding out the turn on things for your partner and doing those things.
I like that because dressing up is cute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Dressing up is cute. I feel like it's important to look nice.
Yeah.
Even I've said I love my bonnet, but it's sometimes you just need to get rid of the bonnet. Yeah, it's important.
Exactly. Like even just like little things like getting your hair done or like, and sometimes
lashes done.
Yeah, like
done. Feet done.
And sometimes you might, like some guys, because they like it so much, they're willing to sponsor those things for you. So they're willing to,
fair enough.
You know, girls, if you're looking for a guy to, you know, pay for these things, these are maybe just like let him know that these are the things that you like to do, and these are the things that he might gift you with. You know, like he might end up saying, "Okay, like babes, I'll pay for you to get your nails done," or like I'll pay for you to get your feet done because some guys have foot fetishes, or
that
like,
is true.
You know, or babe, I'll pay for your hair to get done because you know, whatever, because they want you to constantly look a certain way.
I agree. I think another thing for me as well is internal date nights. And when I say internal date nights, I mean date nights that you do in the house that you're not always out. So like, obviously I stated like pizza making before and going out to do stuff, and we spoke about holidays. Let's say, you know what, you guys are you're in your building phase, you know, you're saving for that, you know, your wedding, you're saving for that property, whatever it is. One thing I think is really interesting is internal date nights. E.g., so like I think I've done like wine tasting internally. Done like a little cheese board, wine tasting, got out a little game. Let's play this game, and it's just such a good way to connect, relax, and enjoy that space. If you're looking for a kind of fun game to play as well with your partner, check out Monogamy on Amazon. That is a good game, and it's.
Do you want to tell us more about it, or?
I think I will let you find out yourself.
Okay, guys.
But no, it's a good game because I feel like basically the game gives you different prompts to do with your partner throughout.
Okay.
And so depending on how you want to take it, you can kind of go extreme or you can kind of keep it a little bit mellow, depending. So the game might tell you to have a couple of drinks. It might tell you to give your partner a certain dance. It might tell you to give your partner like a massage. It might tell you to kiss your partner in a certain way. So there's a few things that the game will tell you to do. And again, it might tell you to take off an item of clothing.
Scuba.
It might take you to take off an item of clothing. So again, depending on what kind of person you are, if you like to wear tracksuits in the house, maybe wear something cute underneath. So when you take off your jumper, there's something cute underneath it.
Something cute to look at.
So that's another example. So like monogamy is one game, but there's obviously multiple games, that you can play with your partner. But an internal date night, I think, is cute because you're in your home setting. You can save money if you are building towards something with that partner, but you still have that deeper connection part.
I like that because especially if you're like cooking, for example, it's, you know, you're just like spending that time in the kitchen and just talking to each other and having that conversation and, babe, do you like it more spicy? Should I add more spice? Do you want more onions? It's even just getting to know them a little bit better and how they like their food, and vice versa as well. They'll get to know how you like your food. It's there's just a whole conversation that can just be had just in that kitchen before you even sit down to eat. So that is really cute. That is cute.
What things do you like? I kind of like as well. Do you know what thing I do like as well? Going to the gym with my partner.
I know you do.
Yes. I really do. I feel like as human beings, nobody's blind.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's important to look nice for your partner. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you need to have abs or you need to have this, you need to have that. No.
Yeah.
That's not it. The point is that you spend quality time with your partner.
Yeah.
Doing something that's for both of you.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to look attractive for you, and you want to look attractive for me, and we do it together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes a little kiss in the gym is not is nice. Yeah, I mean, sometimes a little is it a butt? I would say a butt smack if you're squatting is also kind of cute.
Is that what you go to the gym for, Jimmy?
No, I go to. We all know I go to the gym.
Yeah.
To make gains. But on a serious note, I really enjoy going to the gym with my partner.
No, that's actually really cute. That's really sweet. I haven't quite crossed that pond yet, but it's an interesting one because I do feel like, I guess it loops back to just finding something that you both have a common interest in and exploring that together.
Yeah. What other things do you think you keep that keeps the spark alive in your relationship? And also, how do you feel about lingerie? Let's talk about, because so men talk about how say that women think that lingerie is a Valentine's gift, and men are like, that is not a gift. How do you feel about lingerie, and do you feel like that can kind of keep sparks in your relationship and just generally?
I think it really depends on your partner.
Yeah,
I think some people are very different. Some partners care for it, some partners don't. But I think it is something that is very sexy. But I think it is something that, because men are visual creatures.
Yeah.
And so for me, I do feel like men would probably appreciate it when their partner is dressed up in lingerie. But then I also think for some women, it's probably more about the practicality of it all. Because it's like, if we're going out for dinner, is that a bra that I can wear? Like certain lingeries, don't work with certain outfits that you're wearing. I know that sounds a bit ludicrous and maybe like a cop-out excuse, but, or the effort to even go through that. Or some women may be body conscious. Yeah. And feel like they wouldn't want to do it like in that kind of way because they don't want the guy to look at them.
I feel like with the body conscious thing though, I feel like whether you are anybody what you are, most women have an insecurity about their body.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but so it's an interesting one. Yeah,
but some women feel more confident to flaunt their body, even if they have insecurity.
Yeah, most definitely.
They feel more confident to throw lingerie on it and flaunt it.
Yeah,
whereas some women are just like, nah, I'm gonna turn off the light. Like, do you know?
Yeah, no. Do you know what I mean? It's actually a real thing, and
be under the covers. And so ultimately, it really depends. I think it goes both ways. It's like your man could like it. But are you confident enough to do it? Yeah. So, but I do feel, in answer to your question, I do think lingerie is very sexy. I think it's very nice. And I think...
Do you, honey?
Oh, gosh. Let's look it onto you. What do you think about lingerie?
Lingerie, I don't think it's a gift. That's one thing. But to be honest, I mimic what you say.
Yeah.
I do think it depends on the woman and whether she feels comfortable enough to do it. And I also think that your partner should have tried to, maybe if he wants that, he should encourage you to do that, because I do feel like a lot of women are body conscious, whether you are slim, whether you are bigger, whether you are size 8, whether you are size 20, there's always an insecurity somewhere. So I think it's up to your partner as well to also kind of encourage that. And that would also help with the spark, because it's like, oh, you love me the way I am.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think about physical touch? Like, and when I say physical touch, I'm not talking about the full whack of intimacy, but I'm talking about things like giving your partner massages and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I think I've said this on a previous episode, one of my love languages is physical touch.
Yeah.
So for me, yeah, as in I don't understand why you wouldn't, because the thing is, if you don't want to hold my hand, and I don't get a little kiss, then you're just my friend. That's almost the way I see it. So, because what differentiates you between you and my male friends is, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously there's so many things, but physical touch is one of the main things. Yeah, do you get what I mean? So yeah, that's what. What do you think about that?
No, I totally agree. I think that whole physical touch and being very kind of like touchy-feely with your partner, I mean, pretty much same thing. But like, cuddling up to them, like, stroking them, giving them massages, things like that, I think are a form of intimacy.
Yeah, they are.
And I think it's also just kind of making your partner feel loved and fancied, really.
Everybody needs to feel fancied. Do you know what? I love that you said that, because everybody needs to feel fancied.
It sounds so ludicrous, but ultimately when you get into a relationship, some people, you know, after the honeymoon phase, it's just like, oh, you're right, Jack. Oh, okay. Like, you know, you're just sitting there and just chilling. And it's like, you're on a sofa together. Why don't you just change it up a little bit? And rather than you being on this side and he being on that side, how about you just both kind of like...
Yeah, a little bit of physical
cozy
touch.
in together and just like sit on, maybe lay on the same side or just...
I feel like you love a cuddle.
I love a cuddle.
Yeah,
just with my partner though, but not with anyone else.
Should I give you a cuddle?
No. Don't touch me. No, I'm joking. No, am I joking? No, don't.
I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, what other things? Do you know what else I think is a good one? Eye contact. With your partner though, because people staring in your eyes.
That is intense.
It is intense, but the eyes are the ports of the soul.
Oh, okay. Don't enter. But like, it's true. I think having eye contact is quite interesting. I mean, I talk a lot with my eyes, so I'm constantly like looking around but when you have that eye contact, it is like saying I love you without saying I love you.
Yeah,
you know
almost. I mean? Yeah, I feel like when I was younger, I used to definitely shy away from eye contact. Whereas now I'm just like, oh, you want to look me in the eyes? Okay.
Look at them.
Yeah, no, the thing is, but it makes me shy, actually, if someone's really staring into my eyes.
If someone's intensely doing it.
Yeah.
I think like there's a difference between having a conversation and staring into somebody's eyes. I feel like me and Jimmy are now looking at each other's eyes a lot. But there's a difference between like looking at someone's eyes and having like communication and conversation.
Yeah.
And because I feel like when you're having a conversation with someone, you notice that you break gaze a lot.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just, you know, that's kind of how you differentiate between like being so intense with somebody and being like just having a conversation and, you know. So, yeah.
Yeah. What other things do you think can keep your, you know, shimmy?
I think, do you know what? Just, it's quite interesting actually, because my cousin, she was telling me about this, but that her and her partner do this, but communication. Yeah. As basic as that sounds.
Yeah.
Communication, like going back to basics.
The basics.
Like whenever he would travel into work, he would just sit on the phone and talk to her for like an hour. Because when you're in a house with, and they live together, husband and wife.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. But it's like, when they're in a house with each other, you can quite easily just get very, you know, not necessarily distracted, but you're just very much like just caught up in the moment.
Day today.
Yeah. So it's just like, you know, oh, we're watching a show. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, I'm cooking and you're in the living room. And, you know, so you don't actually realize you don't probably talk that much.
Yeah.
But then you know, they were saying to me like when they were dating, so before they lived together, they spoke more.
Oh,
so it's
but that makes sense.
It does make sense.
It makes sense.
So when they said that, I was like, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So he uses his commute because it's probably like an hour or so to really talk to her, and that's their time to really like talk and really get, you know, have conversations, which I thought was really quite cute. So
that is cute. It's an interesting one.
Yeah. What about you?
Another thing I think is like maybe, do we say regular date nights?
Yeah.
Yeah, regular date nights and regular intimacy. I feel like when you live with somebody, sometimes, because you know, I think one of my friends spoke to me about this recently actually. Before they was living together, for example, they would have regular intimacy. And I think this happens a lot with married people as well, actually. When they start living together, it's less so much so. But actually, I'm not saying schedule it, but think about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 What do you think about that?
I sometimes that can feel almost very not organic, and I feel like sometimes it's almost like half and half. On one hand, you want to make sure you're getting it in.
Yeah.
But on the other flip side, you also like spontaneity. Oh gosh,
Spontaneity.
Yeah. You'd love the spontaneity of just, you know, maybe your partner coming home and just kind of like being suggestive to you, as opposed to being like, yep, right, 6 o'clock. Okay, let's go.
No.
I mean,
the thing is that can never work. That can never work.
But scheduling
that would never work for women.
But scheduling it, no, it will never.
It would never work for women.
It will never work.
Yeah,
you're not on cue.
No, it's not going to work. So that's why I say you can't. I'm not saying schedule it.
Yeah,
but you need to have at the back of your mind that it needs to be regular. I think it's better for it to be in the conscious mind where you're just like, okay, I know that I need to, you know, have some intimate time with my partner this week, as opposed to being like, okay, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, it's a go.
That will never work.
It would never work. But do you know what the thing is? It's funny because we're talking about it and we're giggling. But do you remember when we were speaking to I can't remember who we were speaking to. We were speaking to somebody, and they were like, a lot of couples when they're trying to get pregnant, they're talking about the doctor asked them how often do they have sex.
Yeah.
And if they don't have sex, 2-3 times a week, then it's difficult.
Yeah.
That's an example. But you don't, like I said, you don't want it to be a routine.
No. Yeah.
Tuesday at 6:00 sounds awful.
You're just going to be looking at that Tuesday like, oh,
yeah.
Can we get to Wednesday, please?
It sounds awful. But I feel like it's up to both of you to make those moments more spontaneous and more memorable.
Yeah.
Which brings me to another point, actually. A lot of women apparently don't initiate intimacy. Which I think is, again, very interesting. It's an interesting point. What do you think about that?
I don't know if I quite believe that, but okay, we'll take that. I think more women probably should. I think
definitely. I think that would.
I think it helps.
Will keep the spark,
and it will keep the spark, definitely. But I think it also does help because you're a bit more in control of it. Because there are times where you and your partner may be a little bit off in terms of maybe your partner wants to be intimate and you're not quite there yet. You're like, you've had a long day at work and you're not interested, and vice versa as well. But ultimately, if you have a moment where you are in that mood, then there's no reason why you can't just initiate and just at least attempt.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like, be a bit more in control of your intimacy.
Body. Yeah. I think the reason for that is women fear rejection more than men, because obviously men deal with rejection more than women do.
But if it's your partner, does it hit the same?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. I think women will say yeah. That's my argument. I think a lot of women will still say yeah to that question, to be honest. Yeah. What do you think? You don't think most women will say yeah? Does the rejection hit the same?
In your relationship, actually, I think if it was a guy
consistent.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If it was consistent, then
no. If it's consistent, it's more than it just hit it, like being offended. At that point, it's like, what's going on?
Yes.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
But I feel if you're in a relationship, I mean, sometimes if your partner maybe just isn't in the right frame of mind, and so maybe it's not on it
as much.
If ultimately you should be able to arouse your partner, they should fancy you. They should want it.
I feel like we say should a lot. I genuinely don't feel like a lot of people are there.
But I feel like guys are easier to turn on than girls.
Yes.
Which is why I
agree.
feel that more girls should feel confident enough to do it.
To initiate,
yeah.
You know what? I completely agree.
Yeah.
I actually really do agree with that. I wonder what a man would say, though, because I wonder what the ratio of men initiating and women initiating is.
I feel like men definitely probably initiate more. Because I feel like they are like probably just more horny. For lack of a better word. But I think more women should feel confident to initiate, because the fact that more men are, I feel like men are less likely to decline.
It's interesting.
I feel like men are less likely to decline and women are more likely to fake it.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. That's a very good point. My next question, though, because I'm like, do you know why I say that? Because with the whole keeping the spark, if women are faking it, what's the advice that you would give?
Don't fake it. Just have a conversation with your partner. I feel like conversations are so underrated.
They are, but I feel like a lot of people don't feel confident enough to have these conversations. I feel like, I mean, we're doing a podcast, so we clearly talk all the time. Do you know what I mean? But what about the women that don't talk all the time? They're a little bit more shy.
I think ultimately, this is a bit of
it's a hard one, isn't it?
It's a hard one, but I think if your partner did something that you liked, like maybe he nibbled on your ear, let's say, just tell him, oh babe, when you nibbled on my ear, that was really good. Like, I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because then he'll do that more.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So
you don't necessarily have him in a positive reinforcement way.
Come on.
Yeah.
So it's ultimately letting him know when you literally, like you said, like in a positive way. So, you know, rather than you having to highlight, oh, I didn't like it when you smacked my bum that time, it was annoying. It's like telling him, I liked it when you nibbled on my ear, because then he's going to be like, and men are very like simple creatures. So I feel if you just tell them that, they're going to be like, oh, great. Okay, I'm just going to nibble on her ear. Yeah. And then that solves, you know, your problem.
Half your problems, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So ladies, essentially, lots of communication.
A lot of communication.
I feel like we just lack that, to be honest, a lot in this day and age.
I think also there's this whole thing of bruising a man's ego. And I think people are scared of doing that. But ultimately, why are you going to suffer in silence? If you're not enjoying it, just let him know what.
You need to let him know. Yeah. Do you know why? Because there's no, again, we always talk about this and I say this word, I don't even know if I pronounce it right as well. There's no longevity in it. You can't do it for that many, how many years can you do that for? How many years can you pretend?
And be unhappy.
Yeah, it's just not it's not sustainable. Are there any other things? I kind of want...
Oh, are there any other things? I'm trying to think. I can't think of anything on the top of my head. Have you got any other things?
Let me check my list of things. You know, I always have a list of things.
This is definitely like a wine chat, though. So, girls, I hope you've got your wine.
Oh, you definitely need wine. One thing I wrote down, and again, it's so interesting. I'm so happy I wrote this down.
Okay.
So, one of my friends spoke about this to me a couple of weeks ago.
Actually, I've got something as well.
Yeah. Attend therapy together.
Interesting.
Very interesting. What she said, though, was really interesting. She was like, because I think what had happened was he was doing his own therapy and the therapist was so in tune and really wanted to meet her because she was like, I really want to see this person you're talking about. But what she said is that they opened up.
It's like opening Pandora's box.
Yeah. They open up in ways that you don't always expect. So sometimes, you know, the way in which we communicate with our partners is not always the best.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody there almost as a mediator, but not a mediator.
Yeah.
You kind of, I didn't know you felt that way when I did this.
Yeah.
Going forward, I'm going to change that.
Yeah, yeah.
So attending therapy together apparently is one way to keep the spark in your relationship, because sometimes we get trapped in our own mind and in our own feelings. We forget to consider the other person's. So it's, that was a really interesting one.
That's a really good one, actually. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting. I like that. But even just to piggyback off of that, to be fair, I feel like people do change every 5 years, they say. So getting to re-know your partner is very important. So I could see how that could be very beneficial, because you could think, but 10 years ago you liked it when I smacked your bum, and then it's like, I don't like it anymore. That butt cheek is sore.
I'm so finished.
Do you know what I mean? So, but another one could be being intimate, but in different places.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Don't look at me. I'm just talking. I'm talking about other people's experiences.
You know.
Listen, some people, and I've never done this, genuinely never done this, but even people going nude on the beaches and stuff like that. Not nude. What is it? It's not nude on
beach. Yeah, nude beaches.
Not necessarily nude beach, but they do the whole like running into the sea naked. What's that called again?
Skinny dipping?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Going skinny dipping with their partners in the middle of the night, like that is euphoric or just like really exciting for some people. I've never done it, like I said. No one should judge me. Or like, I know a couple, they will kill me for telling this story.
I love it. Get the gist out. Just tell us all the gist. We want to hear it.
I shouldn't even say this, Jesus. But they went to a wedding and had sex in the suite that a couple were meant to be having. But the spontaneity of it all, it was just almost like,
It kind of worked for them.
And it worked for them. It was so like, oh my gosh, for them. They were, but I think that kind of stuff really excites people. Like that almost like, don't get caught.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Don't
get caught.
I like that. Do you know actually something you've done recently that I think is...
Wait.
Something you've done recently that I think is also really good, but is spending time with other happy couples.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
I feel
nice.
like when you double date and when you go out and see other couples, it's like, oh, is that your experience? This is my experience. I love that for you. And it's just the energy when you see that someone's truly happy. Obviously, don't go and spend time with miserable couples because that doesn't make sense. But when you see people that are really genuinely happy, you take some of that.
No, 100%. It's such transferable energy.
Yes.
And it's also nice when you do it with friends. So, like, for example, if you're double dating with like a friend of yours, somebody that knows you quite well, and they see you in a happy space.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's really nice. It is really nice, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because they know you very well, typically. And so if it's a friend that's quite close to you, they can actually see you happy. They can see you and your partner together and see how you are bouncing off of each other and stuff like that. Which is really nice. And
I feel like it makes for a nice it makes for a nice environment. It makes for a nice vibe. So yeah, double date, guys. Go on holiday together. Double holiday dates. As we know, Nate just came back from holiday, so yeah. Is there anything else? I'm like, let me just, do I have anything else? Oh, one last thing is show appreciation to your partner. If they do little, like, I'm a big person for little things. So if you do little things, I'm like, oh, thank you. Do you know what I mean? Thank you for doing that with me. Yeah. Because actually, you made my life easier in some way. So it's showing appreciation for the little things. So again, your love languages, I think one of them is acts of service, if I recall.
Yeah.
Just thank you. Yeah. You know what I mean? A little thank you here and there. And again, I feel like positive reinforcement for men really works.
Yeah.
I feel like when you want to get naggy and shouty, it doesn't necessarily work that well.
No. But that's the thing, even just piggybacking off of what you're saying, like understanding your partner's love language, it is just so important, because it's like maybe your partner likes gifts, or maybe your partner just loves a home cooked meal, and doing that every so often will make them feel loved and appreciated, just like you say.
Show them love the way they want to be loved.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think that's it for me.
That is definitely it for me.
Guys, is there any way that you would advise other women or men, to be honest, to keep the spark in their relationship? Is there anything that we've said that really resonates with you that you want to kind of be like, let us know in the comments? If there's something that you feel we've missed and you want to definitely highlight, please write that in the comments too. Definitely more than happy to, again, air that, discuss that.
Yeah, definitely. Give us some tips and things that you've been doing that you feel has worked for you in your relationship, especially if you've been in long relationships. Let us know what has been worked for you and how you've adapted over the years. That would be really interesting to hear. Yeah, definitely. And on that note, you know, we go on cheers. So cheers. I can't believe how much drink you got left in your glass. That's rude. Oh wow, okay. It's rude. I hope you lot have finished your wine. See ya. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. Bye guys. Bye.